Well, welcome to the first ever episode of Drink Until It's Funny. Joining us today is Commander Shepard himself, Dylan Shipley.
Hey, everybody.
Also in the room, we have Edwin, also known as Omahdon.
Hey there, I'm not actually drunk, but it's 7:30 a.m., so no.
Our lead animator, Eric.
Hello and good evening.
Our lead animator's wife, Joanie.
Hello.
The woman of many, many voices, Natalie Loftus.
Hello.
The man we all know and love, Phil Hornshaw.
Greetings. It is not early in the morning here, so I am drinking.
And the man known as the Sloth, Tyler.
Hi, everybody. I'm not drinking either, but I have a cowboy hat.
And that's all
And you're
that
a
matters.
son of a bitch.
We are also joined by the man himself, Koobismo.
Hello, I'm the one sounding weird.
Well, one of the ones sounding
One of
weird.
the
Come on,
ones.
Koobs. Give us a little credit here, you bastard.
Come on.
Yeah, you're in good company for weird.
Today we are going to break down Mass Effect now that the trilogy is 100% complete. We're going to discuss our opinions from Mass Effect 1 all the way through the Citadel DLC. Since it's the most relevant and current in everyone's mind, I assume the group has played the current Citadel DLC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's start off. Natalie, what's your impressions of Citadel?
Sorry, I was about to burp.
They're not strong.
Well, I enjoyed it. Not as, obviously, I don't see it as canon in the serious side of Mass Effect, but as a fan service, I think they just did what the fuck they wanted, and I quite enjoyed it.
Dylan, what about you?
I have to agree with Natalie on this one. I particularly really enjoyed it. Like, it's one of the things where it had me smiling throughout the whole thing, so I consider that a plus. And kind of like Natalie said, it did have a huge tonal change from the kind of atmosphere that the third game was building up. But I think as a side thing in itself, I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I guess I'm just keep repeating myself. But yeah, I really liked it in my opinion.
Let's take a different, maybe a different point of view, or not. Phil.
Yeah, Citadel is a lot of fun. Citadel is, it's a good time, and everybody comes out. They pulled out all the stops, which I appreciated. That said, it is so fundamentally different from what both Mass Effect is and what Mass Effect 3 are that it really bothers me. In addition, I really felt like it was geared at manipulating all of us who were upset that they didn't do a good enough job with the story to begin with, that to try and make us not hate them anymore and maybe buy Dragon Age 3. I really felt I didn't feel like so much the writers and developers were having fun as much as they were aiming directly at our emotional center in an effort to get us back on their good side.
I'm wondering what the importance of that distinction is, though, personally, because I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying, "How dare they give us what they want? They just want us to like them." I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
Like them, and of course, we're sorry about the disaster. I don't know, disaster might be overstating it, but the serious problems in Mass Effect 3. But I mean, I'm okay with them giving me what I asked for.
Right. The breakdown for me is it's not what Mass Effect is, right? Like, yeah, okay, freaking Tally singing, Rex dancing,
Holy crap.
Everybody making jokes is a fun time, but it's not why I signed up to begin with, right?
Well,
what I signed up for was what Mass Effect was always gearing toward being, which was being this serious, technical, important, emotional story, and it totally failed to be that in the ending. I mean, we've all talked about that before, and I have real trouble with that ending. And so Citadel breaking so far out, and especially being part of being a DLC and supposedly being part of that story, it's not why I'm there to begin with. Like, I don't need a fan fiction DLC. Does that make sense?
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. One of the things I would say about it, in a lot of ways, I actually don't think it really breaks the Mass Effect feel. It does break the tone of Mass Effect 3, certainly. I don't think there's any arguing with that at all. But in a lot of ways, it actually feels kind of at home in Mass Effect to me, because Mass Effect is actually, in a lot of ways, a kind of an ode to Star Trek, Babylon 5, what have you, like other serialized science fiction shows in a lot of ways. And one of the things I think that you can, that like if you really follow those shows closely, all of them kind of have a joke episode, if you will, here or there. Like they often have an episode which is kind of technically in canon, but also not ever really referenced outside of the confines of that episode. One of the episodes I often reference when talking about the Citadel DLC is in Stargate SG-1, Wormhole Extreme. If you look up that one, where they like reference the fact that they're in a TV show, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once More with Feelings. So it's definitely very chunky. Yeah, no, I mean but it's very out of tone with the rest of the series in that regard. But it kind of feels appropriate in a lot of ways to me.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, could we touch on the fact of Tally's singing just for a moment?
I'm curious to get reactions on that, actually.
I love Citadel and I love Tally, but holy crap.
What a fucking abomination.
That was the most terrifying moment in all of Mass Effect for me. I could have done without it.
Okay, no, I have to...
really upsettingly weird.
I have to say, as a Tallymancer, I loved that because I thought it was absolutely adorable. I was just sitting there going, "Aw, she's failing."
What I love the most about it is just the catch of air at the end when she's finished. She just goes.
Well, I will say, if you play the scene again, if you're not romancing Tally, it's not nearly as horrible because she doesn't sing.
Right. Oh, really?
And I think it's a much funnier scene when you don't include that like painful, oh my lord, who is this girl? Element
I
of it.
loved
So.
it. Tallymancers are the most friggin' militant and angry fans that there are, and I just loved it. I watched it and I was just like, I'm just gonna go to BSN and watch the shitstorm fly.
Tally has some great moments in Citadel too, and I don't know what was the thinking behind making her sing. Like,
I'm sorry, the awkward conversation during the party was one of the best scenes ever between Tally and, now I can't remember her name, and
Sam and Edie.
Yeah. Her story about the sushi place, about how, her walking past it every day and the racism that kept her out of it, and then Shepard ruined it. That was amazing.
And then you broke their floor.
You couldn't even eat there. That wasn't the point.
I could look at it, damn it.
Now,
I thought the funniest moment in Citadel, well, no, there's a whole bunch of funny ones. One of my favorites, and I do have a soft spot for Zaid, but I love in the party when Garrus and Zaid are booby-trapping the apartment. And you approach Garrus, and he's setting up all the bombs on the window, and you hear Zaid through the radio, "Go tell him, he won't understand." That was just the funniest thing.
I actually missed that part. I gotta replay that.
You have to do the quiet party
Another
twice.
Zaid moment is like when he and Samara are appreciating the art in Shepard's apartment.
Oh,
And he has this like really like artistic and deep view of this painting.
see,
They're like you're a complicated man. And he's like, "You bet you're a sorry ass."
Here's where it breaks down for me. For every good moment like that, there were so many that I felt like kind of fell flat. Like Vega talking about his muscles and hitting on Ashley Williams was just like painful to watch. And I mean, when
There's
we
a
talked about
Vega
the tally,
romance now.
I think another part that fell really flat for me is I really hated every time Javik opened his mouth. As much as I love Javik, and I think he's easily the best character in Mass Effect 3,
Prothean don't like you.
I think you can write him humorously without him actually cracking jokes, and it doesn't seem like they bothered.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like Javik, and Rex strayed into that same territory for me.
right?
Uncle Erdnot
became
the boom and all this.
They became mascots. They became like way too. Javik's Team Javik line was pretty hilarious. That was, but other than that, I feel like the same thing. They turned them into clowns when they didn't need to be.
So now, Eric, you touched on it, and I think we all agree that sci-fi universes, are allowed and encouraged to, on occasion, do the one-off episodes, the breaking from the canon, if you will, and allowing the humor episodes to have fun with the universe they created. But Edwin, when you take that concept and you put it into essentially the very end of a series, Eric mentioned, Buffy and SG Stargate. How does that affect the story when you put it right before the climax of the series?
From my point of view, it actually makes sense. I know that sounds really, really weird, but I don't know. It's something I noticed in like a lot of long-running series, like especially anime, because usually anime there's like a break on the 24th episode. If it's a 26 episode series, then it's a break on the 24th or the 23rd episode, right before things go horribly, horribly wrong, where they like have a beach episode or go to hot springs or something like that. Basically, the calm before the storm. Basically, so this is what Citadel felt like a little bit of a partying, lots of drinking, lots of insane hijinks, that kind of thing.
And then Star Child.
and then Star Child. But let's pretend that never happened, because that's in my head canon. They just,
I think you're almost encouraged to do that, because regardless of what you want to say about the kind of humorous bent of Citadel, and I agree it causes problems. What Citadel is also, what I think is really admirable about Citadel is that they did focus on the characters, right? Maybe they shouldn't have taken such a goofy tone, but they focused entirely on the characters, and for me, that's always been far and away the best part of Mass Effect. And it was something that was painfully missing from the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
and
it
so
definitely highlights
while in the story itself, Citadel is not the ending. In the sense of giving us kind of closure with our buddies, it's totally the ending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it feel manipulative to me, is that it's the ending that's not the ending. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Now, I think all of us have read Koobs' review his detailed review on Citadel. And yeah, as a lot of people say, Koobs, you bastard, why don't you love this? Please love this. Love something,
I think the correct term was ginger asshole.
Ginger asshole, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So let's get Koobs in here, because Koobs is usually the quiet one. So now, Koobs, just going specifically based on that point, if you took Citadel DLC as a whole, unaltered, and you moved it over into, say, the end of Marauder Shields, hypothetically, if everyone was alive, we don't know yet, but say you put that and you tag that at the end of Marauder Shields, or heck, somehow Shepard survives the original Mass Effect 3, and then they cut to Citadel DLC. Would you find this acceptable?
I think it's entirely problematic to even expect ourselves. We automatically jump to headcanoning stuff that comes from a multi-million-dollar company.
Right.
Yeah, hiring dozens of writers to create content. If we automatically have to jump to headcanon, I think there's something off in this whole process, and we can actually debate whether or not this would fit at the end of Marauder Shields. I think not, because as much as I love the characters and I love a bit of humor, I absolutely despise those comedic episodes in TV shows that actually change the whole meaning. I hate everything that's jumping from what the story is trying to tell. And about the TV show thing, I never felt like Mass Effect was a TV show, actually. I always felt it was more akin to movies in how it handled its content. It wasn't Stargate SG-1, where you had each episode themed differently about something different. One was about, let's say, synthetics versus organics. And the second one was about the freedom of will, and the third one was about how we progress as a culture, for example. And then you could make a fourth one that was just, people making asses of themselves and having fun and drinking. But in this regard, I think that Mass Effect was a more defined storyline that began in point A, ended in point C, and even if I dislike the ending, as you probably know, it was still.
Wait, Koobismo doesn't like the end?
Yeah, sorry, that's
news to me.
Breaking news: Koobismo does not like the end of Mass Mass Effect 3.
Holy shit! When were you going to tell us?
Damn it, Koobs, you've duped us all.
Yeah, I kind of left that, for the end.
Once Marauder Shields was over.
Well,
By the way,
yeah.
guys, I kind of didn't like the ending.
So, I guess real.
59 has the Star Child show up.
So, a question for the group.
Your color.
Question for the group, and Koobs touched on it. A lot of people that, from what we even heard in this conversation, is a lot of people look at the DLC and go, well, in my headcanon, what I do is I see it as the end of Mass Effect 3, or I take it as the end, and I don't really put it in the middle. I just see it this way. Is there anyone in the room who looks at the DLC as a whole, where it's placed within, and doesn't have to alter, essentially, lack of better words, headcanon, to enjoy the DLC completely?
Oh, to enjoy it?
To enjoy it completely and go, this DLC is perfect without altering the way you look at it in order. Is there anyone who loves it?
I enjoyed it a lot in that manner, but I'm also familiar with the shore leave and how it works in times of war. So I was able to separate myself from the actual battle of Earth and say yes, because you want to give these people who are the main fighters in the war that break. And give them that moment. And even the player needs a break from everybody dying, everything's destruction. We're just doing one last hurrah. We need something to go, let's laugh for a change.
I agree with that.
Well,
I
and
actually think.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I actually think that's very peacetime-like thinking. Basically, we do tend to, impose our lives and our comforts to stories about the apocalypse, and the Mass Effect 3 isn't a story about anything else. It is the apocalypse coming from all sides. And if you consider that we have Anderson fighting in London and losing his men in the same time when he arranges Shepard's apartment and says, Shepard, you need some rest. You totally need to go and have a brew and
Shepard,
just hang
I got
out.
shot in the face the other day. Have my apartment.
well, and the quantum entanglement,
Shepard has saved the world, like, 3
entanglement.
times.
It was very out of character. I'm not sure how it went for your Shepherds, but it was very out of character for my own Shepherd, who was basically the guy who sacrifices stuff at daily basis just to go ahead and maybe save one life or two, and not 2 million which are dying during the Citadel DLC.
I would actually say, to buttress your point, Koobs, one thing that that really supports that is, if you remember, before Cerberus actually strikes the Citadel, there's actually that moment with Joker where he's actually looking out and being like, hey, we could go see a movie, or we could do this or that. Meanwhile, millions of people are dying on Earth. And he looks around and sees everybody on the Citadel. He goes, these people have no idea what's going on. Like, it's actually meant to point out, nobody here, everyone here is like laughing and enjoying, their soon-to-be short-lived sanctuary here, and none of them actually have any idea what's going on because they're deluding themselves.
Right.
Well,
it really felt like
that line is. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
That line is especially funny because the specific examples he uses are all in the Citadel DLC. He says the Blasto movie is doing great. There are tips on making your apartment look bigger, and then there's a third one that I can't recall, but is also humorously similar to something in Citadel DLC.
I didn't even think about it like that, but you're right, actually.
Yeah.
You think that I remember that. That's funny.
And so, like, exactly every example Joker gives is later put in the thing.
Oh,
Yeah, see, that's what really bugs me about it, is that it's so far removed from the tone of Mass Effect. And that was really what was my major problem with the ending to begin with, was that it felt like something shoehorned in that was not what Mass Effect meant to me over the course of 3 games. And Citadel is sort of the same way. And I appreciate that it's fun and that they worked really hard on it. I did have a good time playing it. I don't want to make it sound like I was sitting there like grumbling the entire time. Occasionally I grumbled, but yeah. But I mean, I think Koobs probably laughed too, right? I mean, it was funny and it was a good time.
Sure.
It's just not the game that we were sold. It's not the story that we were there to be told. And that's what bothers me about it so much, is that it feels like fan service to the point, fan service that sacrifices good storytelling, and that's that I can never really get behind that. That's all. Legion's death in Mass Effect 3 is probably my favorite part of that whole game, but that's neither here nor there. But well, okay, well,
It doesn't serve the story.
hang on.
Everyone take a shot.
Let me qualify by saying that I played that Renegade, and that scene is freaking amazing. That's the best. That's the best scene in that game. Period. Full stop. When Shepard and Tali murder Legion, that is the best scene in Mass Effect 3, easily. It's
that seems like hard, but okay.
You're a cold man, Phil Hornshaw.
I will
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I'll give you a pass
like
because
to
you went
say-
with Renegade, because it isn't just the I must transmit data, I must die now.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That's ridiculous.
Well, no, what I would say is I don't know so much about Legion's death as the Renegade, but I don't really play a Renegade, but I actually saw the video right before then when the Renegade Shepard like destroys the Reaper with like one final blast, and that was pretty amazing. Actually, it made me want to go Renegade for that. Actually,
Yeah, so here let me run this down real fast because it's really this good, and you guys if you haven't played it, you should go back and play it this way. Because I try to play Mass Effect without going, oh, the top one is positive and the bottom one is negative. I try to pick like based on the situation. And when it came down to like the Aquarians versus the Geth, I sided with the Aquarians. Tali was my girlfriend and I freaking couldn't handle it. So when you pick Renegade in that moment at the end of Rannoch, Legion is like, this is bullshit and it's not fair, and he like tries to murder Shepard, and Tali stabs him in the back to save Shepard's life. It's incredible. It's the best writing in the whole game. It's so good.
I
should
disagree with that.
You should really play
Best
it.
writing in Mass Effect 3
Is the Star
everything
Child.
Is everything about Jarek. I think
I
Jarek
love
is
that kid.
the only fantastic character in Mass Effect 3 personally, and not just because he's so great, but because he finally saves Liara, who I thought was really weak before.
To be honest, I have to go back and like play the whole game over again with Javik because I got him late
Yeah, he's pretty fantastic
because of stupid money.
Yeah.
We've talked about, just the tone of Mass Effect, changing either from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 3, heck, to the DLC. And there's definitely been tonal shifts along the way. Now that Mass Effect is into, I think, the third lead writer, I guess the question is, how important is the writer to the Mass Effect universe?
I have an example.
Go for it.
That I'm not sure if this is completely true, but from what I've read by many people, is that Ashley in Mass Effect 1 had a completely different writer for Mass Effect 3, hence why she's crap in Mass Effect 3. I loved her character in Mass Effect 1. Everyone's like, oh, she's a space racist, but she's not. She's just a normal human being, and they are fucking aliens. And that is how normal human beings would react to fucking aliens.
Well, and also she was.
But she just goes down.
Like members of her family get murdered in Mass Effect 1 because of the first contact.
They were in the Contact Wars, and
Right.
she's had a background where aliens have fucked up her family, and everyone's like, "Oh no, she's a space Nazi. I don't like her." But I fucking loved her. I love her for the simple fact that she does not kiss Shepard's arse like everyone else. You say, "Right, we're gonna go here and do this and help these aliens," and she's like, "But why?" And everyone else is like, "Okay, Shepard, let me suck your dick, Shepard. I love you, Shepard." But, do you know what I mean?
No, you're right. That's
Ashley is.
I
one of
can't
the
picture
few-
Rex saying that, but okay.
Shepard, let me suck your dick. But,
Come here, Shepard.
in my character, you would not suck your
Where's
dick.
Stefanos when we need him?
I absolutely agree with Ned.
quickly.
Yeah, absolutely agree with Ned. One of the reasons I think Ashley was a very controversial, hated character by many players in Mass Effect 1 was that she was pretty original for a video game series. She actually had her opinions, as Ned said. Furthermore, she was religious in Mass Effect 1.
Also, poetry. No one likes poetry.
Oh, totally.
I liked it.
I like Tennyson.
Quite inspiring.
I always thought Ashley was a great character who I would hate in real life, but that's why she's a great character. Like, I don't hate her for bad writing. I hate her because I would disagree with her so vehemently about everything.
I kind of share your perspective actually, because I actually am not that big of an Ashley fan either. But that's a really good perspective on it. Is that I kind of dislike her because I would probably dislike her in real life. Mm-hmm. But she is pretty human feeling actually.
Well,
It's sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead, Nat.
I was just going to say, like, it's in a setting where everyone doesn't question Shepard at all. Apart from maybe Udina, where he's like, political shitstorm, Shepard.
Who's
But
also a great character, by the way.
I fucking love him.
Until Mass
He's
Effect
so
3.
annoying.
Yeah, frustrated he turned
so
into
mad
a
with
traitor
I
by
love
the end.
to hate him.
Mass Effect 3. Like,
But,
I was so upset about his thing in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
yeah, but no,
I
there was
thought
an
it fitted
opportunity
with
for
him
them,
now.
like he could have proven himself. He could have been a great character because they could have made him, you know, like, okay, maybe you disagree with his methods, but he actually isn't. He has his heart in the right place. Like, yes, you know, he is, you know, like ruthless, political, and everything. But in the end, maybe he's actually got your back in the end. Nope, indoctrinated. Maybe it betrays you.
That's perfect for Udina, though.
Damn it.
It's perfect for him. 'Cause he's a weasel.
Well,
And he'll
we're,
do anything he can to survive and get where he wants
Mom's
to
a
be.
weasel.
Can we stop real quick and talk about Liara? Nobody else finds Liara totally boring?
I do.
I was going to say. I
Like,
don't
no, I actually said, here's my problem with Liara. Liara is a classic example of a writer's pet because she changes throughout that trilogy, but not in a good way. Like, she doesn't have a very natural character growth. She changes based on the whims of the writer, I feel like, because in the first game she actually feels a lot more like Tali in a way. Like, she's kind of, you know, innocent and, you know, distant and very like quiet and naive, and then by the time Mass Effect 2 comes around, it's such a random character growth where all of a sudden now she's like manipulative and is like, well, not to Shepard but to other people, and she kind of has a ruthless streak which we never see grow. And then by the time Mass Effect 3 comes around, like she's so divorced from that original character, and I never felt like we got a good sense of character growth out of that. I feel like she changes far too much, and we don't see the reason why.
You have to buy
And
that
part of that,
comic.
I guess, is because I was going to say part of that is because I guess that happens in the comic, but that's a cheap trick. Like, no, I don't buy that. We should get something in the game to explain that.
But you do, if you sort of talk to her, you do. She'll go on about like how she had to save you pretty much. But the only reason that I'm such a fan of Liara is as a female who is into females playing this game, the romances are very, very slim. Mass Effect 1, creepy Caden neighbor boy who hangs outside your quarters, and if you are the slightest bit nice to him, he's like, "Oh, Shepard, jizzed," and you're just like, right, you're going to Vermeer, fuck you. And then there's Liara. So I romance Liara, obviously, because I can't romance Ashley, even though I'd fucking love to, because it would just make sense to me, but that's not the point. And then it gets to Mass Effect 2, and it's like, you can romance Garrus. No, thank you. Jacob.
Oh, Jacob.
No one
the
likes
man.
Big Mass
okay, so
I'm going to date a man who pissed himself. Fuck you.
all right, so
I got to throw in one more thing about Liara, please. Before we
all right, go for it, Sloth.
So I don't like Liara either, and I have a nice long rant about that. But bullet point that hasn't been brought up yet. My biggest bias against Liara, and this is totally unfair, but when I read her description before Mass Effect 1 came out, so there was some profile on her website. They said she was an alien archaeologist who studied aliens who she didn't study humans. She studied another alien species, and I thought that was just the freaking coolest concept for a character, an alien that studies other aliens. And so I was so disappointed when she has 2 lines in the entire trilogy about archaeology, and she knows nothing about the Protheans. And she doesn't look like an archaeologist. She doesn't look like Indiana Jones. There was nothing clever archaeology-y about her. She was just, "Oh, Shepard, I had no idea it'd be so intense. You must have remarkably strong willpower." What is that?
Yeah.
The only thing she contributes in Mass Effect 1 is she recognizes Ilos from the dream after you've fed her freaking everything.
I'm sorry,
And
but
biotic powers too,
you just
also.
stack Minty and get Sloth to do Liara in the audio.
Exactly. Totally.
But
By the
if you're
goddess.
really good. Hey, if you're really good, you can feed her your dick.
No, I'll say I think she's finally kind of likable by Mass Effect 3. She's
Right.
still not an archaeologist, but she's kind of likable to me by Mass Effect 3. But I think they took 2 games to do that, which was weird. And I admit I love all the Javik Liara stuff. I think that Javik turning out to be a douchebag was just a freaking wonderful thing for Liara's writing.
Yeah, I love that change. She's like, "I'm Liara to Sony." and it's like, yes, you are, bitch. Go on, tell that bastard.
Yeah, I mean, like, Javik being awful was brilliant. I think he's so great.
They used to eat flies.
Sloth. I think we need to do an episode on sloth rants, but
I could fill it up. I practice in my car all the time. I seriously have argued about Mass Effect to myself like 100 hours easily. Like, just constantly.
Likewise.
I think for
I
the
don't
good
lie.
company.
You argue that to
Have
me.
you unlocked an achievement for that?
I didn't actually, which
Sounds
really
like you're
disappointed me.
typing these things down. We could use that content.
Well, yeah. Again, I think I should rant about Rannoch as Zaid if we have time. That'll fill up a half hour.
Can we, after this is published, can we just release By the Goddess by Sloth as a text tone? I would use that.
I think that's
Sloth going, By
Another
the
idea that
Goddess!
we should have Zaid. I'm really biased in favor of voicing Zaid because I get to do it. But I think we should have Zaid redub scenes from Mass Effect where he's playing characters besides Zaid. Oh yes, Reapers and all that.
You know what would be fun is scenes from Mass Effect with commentary from Zaid. It's like, this is what Shepard's doing wrong.
Oh my god!
if I was there,
actually
here's why
had
it
an
would be
idea
better.
like that. I was going to do it for Citadel, like, hard to tell, but actually, Shepard didn't actually fly in to do this with us. He was somewhere else doing some other movie. So we were all there in the apartment doing the party, and they said, look at this tennis ball. That's Shepard. We'll CG him in later. And I got to tell you, it's freaking difficult to talk to a tennis ball like it's your mate. I was saying that in the shower the other day.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
We could make that a series. Like, we could do like the DVD extras with the
incredible.
commentary.
That prima donna douchebag. I mean, I respect Shepard professionally. He's a great actor, both of them. But he doesn't, he's not a team player. It's gone to his head. That Academy Award he got just turned him to shit.
It'd even be scarier if it was Zaid and Jack arguing about this.
Oh,
Oh God.
She'd be welcome.
Oh God.
All right, so
From the shivers.
Just Jack going on about how much he hated the love scenes because she fucking hates Shepard. Fucking pussy.
so
He has a body double.
and regardless of how we all felt about how Mass Effect 3 ended or the DLC, I mean, we're obviously all massive fans of the Mass Effect trilogy up until a certain point, no matter it's the end or somewhere before that. But for everyone in the room, and I'll pass this around from one to another, what was your favorite moment of any part of Mass Effect? Edwin.
Oh, me. Oh,
Yeah, you. The quiet man over there.
damn. Okay. Gosh,
Who
I thought
speaks
I
the
would have
least
more time.
answers first from now on.
Crap. Oddly enough, one of my favorite moments, even though it's not really an emotional point at all, is the fact that the Overlord DLC got custom music. I know this is a weird thing to have a favorite thing for, but it's just to hear something new, because all the previous DLCs like Kasumi's and Zaid's, I don't think they actually had different themes for the characters, even though they probably, no way they did. What I'm talking about.
The Overlord music is really good.
Yes, the Overlord music is really good. That's one of my favorite moments in the series for some reason. So I don't know why that is, but that just stuck out with me. That was
Dylan.
probably a very bad answer.
No, Dylan, favorite part of any Mass Effect?
jeez.
Come on, man, you've had a minute to think about this.
I know, but I have a lot that I want to talk about.
And you
I
have to
don't
answer it in Commander Shepard's voice.
know. In Shepard voice. Oh dear God.
Space cow. Talk about the space cow.
Space cow.
The shifty space cow.
Well, I think the major one that sticks out to me was in Mass Effect 1 with the talk with Vigil. That part I've never been able to get over, because just with all this new information about the Reapers and just and the voice acting in it was great. Like I love whoever they had acting for Vigil's voice, and just everything at that moment kind of it screamed BioWare to me, because before that I had played BioWare games like Knights of the Old Republic and everything, and there's always that one moment in all their games where just everything just kind of like sinks in together, and it just makes the game just shine. And I thought that moment was one of those moments in Mass Effect 1, at least for me, and it just kind of drove me forward for the rest of the game and then to the following games. And so I'd probably say the Vigil conversation was one of my favorite points in all the trilogy.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah,
looking back.
Sure. Joanie, what about you?
I completely fell in love with Mass Effect 2's scene with Morden where he sings Scientist Solarian. I could listen to that 100 times and still smile every time I hear it. Though, for Citadel, I have to say Rex body slamming that car made my day, made that DLC.
Yeah.
Rex smash!
I really wasn't expecting him to just show up. That was amazing.
Exactly. And then he just body slams the car just like it's nothing, like football linebacker style.
Excellent. Phil, what's up?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
You can't change your answer, Dylan.
I'm not changing my answer. I'm just saying that, like, with this Citadel DLC included, just the I should go bit if you have Rex and Garrus in your party is the most amazing thing I ever seen. Just like the whole series, he said, I should go. Do I really sound like that? For as long as I've known you, yeah. It was like, just a weird human thing you do. It was amazing. I love it so much.
I thought that was just a weird human way to say it.
I'm open to feedback here.
Well, and that actually was. I wish we had Vance in the room. Vance worked on Mass Effect 1 and 2, and that was an actual in-studio ongoing joke to the point where even Mark Muir and Jennifer Hale would use it outside of the recording session. Like, I should go to the bathroom, and it was they would use it for everything. So it was an ongoing, not even just an in-game joke. It was actually in BioWare joke that still exists to this day. So I kind of appreciate throwing that in just because it was such a part of the Mass Effect creation process. So I think that's some great stuff. Yeah. Who else wants to jump in? Favorite moment of any part of Mass Effect? I think Koobs is excited.
Yeah, Koobs gets it.
Everyone's okay. Everyone take note. Koobismo's favorite part of Mass Effect ever.
None of it.
It all sucks. It all sucks.
Come on.
I wasted the past 6 years.
That's just evil. Definitely Sovereign's speech from Mass Effect 1 on Vermeers.
Oh, yeah.
The power and fear that, it just brings out by nothing, by dialogue. And, the characters are standing around talking. There's nothing, just happening around them. There's no explosions or whatever. It's just simple dialogue bringing out the best. And I think that was something really powerful. And if you look at this and if you look at Dylan's answer and Sovereign's and Vigil's dialogue were powerful just because of what was said and how they said it. And because of the idea behind it. There were no special effects, no cutscenes.
Well, and I'm right there with you, Koobs, on that. And that was going to be, I feel the same way of the entire trilogy, the Sovereign moment, where you actually find out what the Reapers are, to me is the most amazing part of any game since really the twist in Knights of the Old Republic. And that's just something BioWare always delivers on, is that moment where you're like, holy crap. And the thing that will always stick with me, and no matter what I feel about the ending of Mass Effect 3 or the DLCs or anything, the moment where Sovereign says, you exist because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it. And I had this huge sound system with the subs, and I heard that through this awesome Sovereign voice, which, by the way, I wish they would have done a similar sounding voice for Harbinger, because Sovereign was just, oh my God, it shakes your soul. But that moment, I don't think has ever been matched, and that's kind of bad on my part that I couldn't get past that, because to me that moment was never able to be matched at any point moving forward. But that's just mine. Someone else.
For me, that moment is not as powerful as my favorite moment in the whole series is in Mass Effect 1. You climb out of the Citadel elevator as you're going to the top of the tower, right? And you see Sovereign for the first time really in any sort of scale attacking the Citadel. And the fucking thing is fucking huge. And like, as awesome as that dialogue was, what Mass Effect is, sorry, I've been drinking a little bit.
Is it funny yet?
Mass Effect is that moment right there where the dialogue, everything that's come up to now, is married with that visual where Sovereign is freaking attacking the station, and it's huge. You step out of that elevator and you're hearing the Reaper sound, and laser beams are like flying over your head and annihilating things. The whole Citadel is closing around you. You're standing on the outside of the station for the first time ever. It was a brilliant scene. And that moment where you actually get a sense of like, here's your doom. It's right there. It's about, 600 yards ahead of you. That was freaking mind-blowing. I loved it.
It was all validated in that moment. Sorry for interrupting.
Yes, no, completely, exactly. It pays off all the cool things. You've had your dialogue on Ilos. You've had your dialogue with Sovereign, and you're like, okay, like abstractly, intellectually, I understand that this is scary. Oh, Reapers, they annihilate everyone. Oh, that sucks. But then you freaking see it. It's out there, and it's like destroying the shit with its little stupid fingers. And no, for real though, they're enormous. They're like lifting up and taking 30 seconds to slam back down, and like every time it smashes into things, that's people like flying off into space and dying and shit. It's spectacular. It was amazing.
How do you really feel, Phil?
I loved it. That was my favorite part. That I've been waiting for a game to hit that moment again since then. It's been what, like 10 years or 6 years or whatever.
10 years. 10 years.
Well, but like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like
it's 10 years
come
since
even close. Nothing has come even close since then to making me so excited about something as that moment in a video game. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and props to the audio for the Reaper noise, because that is like the coolest sound I've ever heard.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to pull Vance in one of these days for sound creation, because I think we all agree that some of the most amazing things about Mass Effect was the sound design, and just when you hear it, and whether it be for most people it's that Reaper noise that just you're like,
can we go through everyone and do the Reaper noise?
The Reaper noise. I wish I had that for
one
my
at a time. We all do it.
And yet the thing I love most is it's a little thwack when you hit somebody with your pistol. Thwack. Like,
oh, that is so
down the
satisfying.
world, and they fall over dead. It's wonderful.
It's like pistol whip. Done.
And you're dead.
I know Sloth is dying to get in on this conversation.
God damn it! It took forever. I can't go that long without talking.
That was my
I saw you over there. You were like, let me know.
I was so excited about
Put me in, Coach.
All right, shut up. Okay.
You can also shut up in Zaid's voice, by the way.
Shut the hell up. All right. So I really like Dylan and Koobs' answers. Those are the two I was going to pick, but I have a third one that I think is a similarly powerful moment for me, at least, is the opening of Mass Effect 1. When you go, Shepard's walking through the Normandy, whatever, that's fine. But then the camera pans and you see Nihilus in all his glory for the first time. And at least for me, being a huge Alien and kind of design fan, seeing how fucking cool the Turians look, especially Nihilus, that to me was like, holy shit, I am no longer sad this is not KOTOR 3. This is going to be better. And I was just freaking blown away by Nihilus' first appearance, and that to me is a big moment in gaming for me.
And then how did you feel when Nihilus died a few minutes later?
It was about the beauty of that character, and that immediately I knew I was in for a great thing that would be full of cool aliens, because that is a bitch of a
I work better on my own. Oh, I'm dead.
Oh, did Nihilus' death bother anybody else? That really, I was like, oh, seriously, it was so cool. And then
it
dies immediately.
By that time, you'd already met Saren
smug.
too, so you knew there was a replacement.
He was too smug. He's like, I don't need your help, Shepard. I work better on my own. And you're dead, wanker.
An ass kicker.
But that's the thing. Nihilus died before the writers gave us a chance to hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him already. I hate Turians. I hate Garrus. I hate the Counselor. I hate all Turians. I'm a space racist.
Like Ashley.
Just like Ashley.
I think we still haven't heard from Natalie on her favorite moments. And let's stop with the hate, Nat. What do you love?
To be honest, for me, it is a DLC in Mass Effect 3, but I really loved Leviathan. I really love when you go down in the ocean and you're in the Atlas, and the atmosphere is beautiful. You have the flares set off. The lighting is amazing, and then just this originally what the Reapers were designed on just bears up out of the darkness, and then you just stood there in this tiny atlas just staring at it, and that to me was fucking amazing. Like, the music was beautiful, the atmosphere was absolutely mind-blowing. Just to go through, and you feel so vulnerable as well because you are in you're in a metal suit, and you going through God knows how deep in the water. You could probably die at any moment because Atlas is a shit anyway. But and that for me was just a proper defining moment, and you actually learn more about where the Reapers came from, why they were created, rather than just we exist to destroy all life because synthetics destroy life, and that doesn't make sense. But the actual reason why the Reapers came about in the first place being explained was quite nice.
So that's your favorite part, and not like say the shots of Miranda in Mass Effect 2?
Oh well, obviously I'm gonna like save, edit, and romance Miranda as a woman, and then have the freaky Hulk Shepard sex down in the engine bay. Obviously I'm gonna do that, but I think obviously things have been already touched on talking to Vigil. That I loved the jump from Ilos to the Citadel. I loved that because that was just like, we're there, we're gonna fuck shit up. And you get there, and the Citadel's in disarray, and everyone's dying and stuff like that. But that jump was amazing.
That was a great moment.
Edwin?
Actually, I need to change my answer now because everybody's answer is just so deep and insightful, and I realized, wait, my answer. I like the music for the one DLC. That's stupid. That's dumb. So thinking about it some more, I think one of my favorite moments in Mass Effect would be from Mass Effect 1, Shepard smiling. That last, just that
smirk.
send-off music, and then just walking off the pile, and
fuck
then
shit up.
that huge shit-eating grin and going, yep, I'm awesome.
That was me.
I'm very, very awesome. You just
because everyone's looking around like, oh no, Shepard died.
Bitch, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm alive, bitch.
It was like that moment, and sorry.
Go, Dylan, go.
And it was like that moment, and even with the suicide mission, the very first time you play through it in Mass Effect 2, just those triumphant moments were just fantastic in my opinion.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, I knew he wasn't dead. It was obvious he wasn't dead. But then again, it was so good when he stumbled out and he's like,
is Shepard okay? And then he comes up, you're like,
yeah. And, everything's the story. He's like, oh, my ribs hurt a little, but
that was inconvenient.
I have another favorite moment. This is my absolute favorite moment of all time.
So you were lying on the first one.
Oh no, that's my favorite storyline moment. What my favorite character moment is when Jacob wants to go through the vents and I let him. And then the ending of Mass Effect 2 when there's only one coffin on its own. Oh, lonely little Jacob. Because he wanted to go through the vents and I let the boring bastard.
But he just wanted the prize.
Just wanted the prize.
It's prize and then Ben Shepard. Okay, go right ahead.
And I'm so sorry I keep butting in with moments, but I also have to mention all the Shepard speeches. Those just amp me up so much all the time.
Oh, Mass Effect 3's was the best. Just that start, this war has brought us pain and suffering
and loss.
But it's also brought us together.
I'll do all of them. Don't even get me started.
I practiced it. I was going to audition for our shepherd, our female shepherd. I was going to audition for it, but I was too late and it didn't sound good. But I learned the entire thing. But I was pretty close. And I just didn't sound Jennifer Hale enough. You need to get that sort of, because Jennifer Hale's fucking amazing. It's the only reason I will always play as FemShep. Just the way she delivers the lines, the slightest bit of change in her emotion, you just hear it completely when she's pissed off, when you're being renegade Shep, and she's a fucking badass. But when you what I found really, really funny though was in the Citadel DLC when you can romance Vega for some reason. But Shepard just turns into this fucking cougar, and she basically rapes the poor lad. But it's just seriously, find it on YouTube, Jeff, and just play it please for the group because it is so fucked up. Shepard's just like, and Vega's like,
heavy breathing.
Maybe. And then Shepard is literally just like fucking heavy breathing. But Hale just pulls it off and it's hilarious. Like no one else could pull that off in a serious sort of profession. And then to just pull that off, like just turning this amazing character who's, you know, valiant and fucking badass, and then just turn into a lech and just a pervert. And I just think it just speaks volumes to Hale that she can just fucking pull off anything. Like if you've listened to a demo reel, you would not know it's the same person. She's a fucking pro, and I love her.
So we get everyone in on their favorite moments. Is someone I'm missing? Go for it.
All right. My favorite moment is a little bit more obvious than everybody else's, but it's actually kind of a cross-up between the Morgan's death in Mass Effect 3 or the Bro Fist moment with Erdnot Rex right before that. And the main reason why to me is just it's so beautiful simply because it feels like the culmination of 3 games. Like going into Mass Effect 1, I actually, every Mass Effect I kind of kept trying to keep my expectations relatively low just because, you know, keeping your save game across 3 whole games, you know, the idea that they would actually, you know, plan all this stuff out, which to an extent they didn't, you know, like the idea that all your decisions could, you know, ever matter, let alone, you know, some of them would, you know, the fact that it all culminated like that, where, you know, at least like 3 of those characters who are in that whole Tuchanka sequence could have been dead. You know, so many things in there can change based on your actions, and maybe just change in subtle ways, but they do change. And the fact that it all kind of culminates in that, to me, really sums up what's best about Mass Effect, because it all feels like the completion of a journey. It feels like you meet Rex in Mass Effect 1, you befriend him. In Mass Effect 2, you meet up with him again, and it really does feel like this is an old friendship. This is old war buddies meeting up together again and kind of lamenting the fact that he's too busy to come with you. And then you get together again in Mass Effect 3 to save the Krogan people, and then you let Mordin get redemption. The whole thing just culminates perfectly. It's so good. It's so amazing to me.
May I express a counter opinion about Tuchanka?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
Oh shit! Yeah, so I will agree. I think Tuchanka was the best done mission in the game in terms of juggling many choices, and as it was pointed out, there are a lot of different variables that went into that, and it could have screwed up all kinds of different ways, and it still works. But I have to admit, I was very disappointed with how the Tuchanka plot went. For one thing, I wanted right from the beginning, before Mass Effect 3 came out, I was hoping that the genophage wouldn't be cured, personally. Not because I don't like the Krogan or because I think the genophage was morally right or whatever, but because it's interesting, and I thought a much more powerful plot would have been the Krogan rising back without curing the genophage. You know, I was very disappointed that after we see Rex in Mass Effect 2, and he's got this really progressive set of ideas for fixing his culture, we get to Mass Effect 3, and it's suddenly, we'll just let the Reapers take the galaxy unless you, Space Jesus Shepard, get us the genophage cure. Like, that's the only way out for them, and it's not about them anymore. It's about Shepard. And along with that, I think there's this kind of implication through Bakara in Mass Effect 3 that the Krogan never deserved the genophage at all, that they were good guys and they just got a little confused and destroyed everything, and then but we're actually really sweet. This is a jungle planet. As soon as Bakara's in charge, we'll be good. Everything will be fine. Whereas I much prefer the interpretation that the Krogan are dangerous. That doesn't mean you can neuter them, but they are actually dangerous, and it isn't just a matter of changing leadership. It's these things are fucking predators who are going to destroy the galaxy, and it's something that needs to be dealt with, and not just whatever, we'll quit that old shit. Like, I think that was who they were.
Natalie's dying.
It was just the Krogan, but they're like, oh no, we deserve a cure. We're actually really nice guys.
I feel like they paint the Krogan as if like it was a big misunderstanding, and I don't think it should have been. I thought
to kill us.
The explanation
my bad.
The explanation that the Krogan were a race that evolved in a planet with huge dangers everywhere, so they had this huge mortality rate. They were incredibly durable, and then when they move off the planet, they're a huge problem because they're not dying anymore. That is brilliant, and that is inherent to what the Krogan are to me. And then by Mass Effect 3, it's just like, whoops, our bad, we'll be nice. And I thought that was very disappointing.
That was
I was upset that the genophage got cured. No matter how cool and emotionally powerful that scene was, I would have preferred the genophage not be cured. Especially, as a silly little aside, why the hell was there a Solarian skyscraper on Tuchanka if they hated the Solarians so much? 1,300 years later, the skyscraper's still there, the one that did the genophage? They haven't torn that down? A skyscraper? All they'd have to do is run a truck into it or something.
Well, considering everything else is
isn't
destroyed.
It an atmosphere controller? It helps the atmosphere because
I'm sure Logan would be very reasonable about that. Like, the Solarians are dicks, but we'll keep the thing because it really sounds like them.
So we'll keep the big skyscraper because we need air.
That was a big part of. That was a big thing in Citadel for me and Koobismo. We were talking about this as he was playing through, and I had kind of sort of rage quit Citadel for a bit. He was talking about the holograms you can run into in the archives, and where you find like the rogue Turian dude who's like, oh, well, I'm going to release the genophage. And like 5 different people in the room are like, are you sure about that? And he still does it. And he and I both were like, oh, that's such a terrible retcon. Because the idea that the Turians and the Solarians actually did that because it was fucking necessary at the moment was really a big deal. Like, because of so many things. I mean, Sloth was just saying, because the Krogan were actually a big threat, and because it was really that scary, they released this really terrible thing that everybody was probably like, well, this is really terrible, but fuck, we're about to die. So, like, that was great. And then to make it about some random Turian rogue general is, it's almost as if they're setting up a plot for a Die Hard movie in the future, and it just was frustrating.
I think if you didn't know Rex and you didn't know Grunt and you only learned about the Krogan rebellions, everyone would just be like, no, fuck it, the genophage stays. They are a bunch of dicks. But Rex is a fucking badass. He's your bro. He's just space bro. But then Grunt obviously has nothing to do with it because he was bred in a tank and he's just off his tits. He's a child basically. Like when you're going on about the noodles and stuff in Citadel DLC, I pissed myself because that was amazing.
And Rex,
I think the genophage is completely justified and should probably stick around a tiny bit because Rex isn't always going to be there to bring everyone together and tell them not to be dicks.
Right, and Rex is a Krogan who is not a standard Krogan. Like he's an exception to the rule. That's what makes him more exciting as a character. Is that he's willing to be like, oh, we should probably have scientists and stuff like that. That's important. Nobody has thought about that for like 1,000 years.
It's like, I should probably headbutt scientists and stuff.
What we've seen in Mass Effect is generally renegade doesn't necessarily mean evil. Renegade usually means
Tell Mass Effect 3.
practical.
That's why
that's a big criticism of Mass Effect 3. I think that oftentimes renegade choices in Mass Effect 3 do feel like evil choices, and they shouldn't. It wasn't that way until Mass Effect 3.
Hence why it's not like when you play like any Star Wars game where you're talking, light side, dark side. It's not that. It's Paragon. You're the nice guy, or Renegade, where you're just like, I'm just gonna kick someone's ass. Like one of my favorite parts in Mass Effect 2 is when you're going through the tower and you kick that guy out the window. It's just. Because you're like, I'm going to kill him anyway.
Well, because fuck that guy.
Yeah, screw him. He's the enemy. Kill him, whatever. That's not evil.
I got nothing to say to you.
It's not evil or...
So getting back to the Citadel scene with the genophage, I what you probably know and hate about me is that I tend to look at why writers write what they actually write and
ginger asshole
and the meanings of the things that are written and how they impact the narrative and where they come from and why the hell would they do that. I tend to focus on that a lot, and I think that Citadel is the most mission-driven piece of content we've seen yet, as Phil said about this whole perspective that, hey, we're cool, this is our inside joke and we love you and you should love us, etc., etc. And based on that, I think that the whole archives thing with the genophage is a pretty glaring example of where Mass Effect is, the new Mass Effect, how I'm calling it, is going. Because if you look at genophage from the historical archives in the Mass Effect 1, mostly in Mass Effect 2, you actually see this very, very driven and very complicated political process. It's a very complicated issue where you know, it's not something easy or something that you can just pin to two characters, one pro, one against, that actually just, fight over it and stuff happens. My major problem with this scene is that it actually shows three characters, one Salarian, two Turians, and what we see here is that the Salarian is against it, obviously. The renegade Turian is, let's just, do it and get this over with. And then there's the third man, who I'm calling Mr. Unsure, who actually just goes, "Are you sure that these are our orders?" And, he doesn't say, "I'm unsure whether we should do it." He doesn't say stuff that's written in a way that shows that he, as a person, has a problem. He actually shows that you have this lenience as the audience to think Turians are cool guys, we're all just a big huggy family, and there was a dick Turian that just unleashed it. And this for me actually damages the genophage plot. It shows that the new Mass Effect, the one that actually arrives right now, which I'm still a fan of, but not as fanatically as of the old Mass Effect, it shows that stuff is being simplified, stuff is being more adolescent. The genophage was totally unnecessary, and this is this guy's fault that it happened.
Yeah, it takes everybody off the hook, which is kind of bad.
No, I felt like that's my problem with Mass Effect 3 in general, to be honest. Like, Koobs, you mentioned, like, the problem with, basically the whole sloth about the whole genophage suddenly becoming, no, it was a bad idea. It was a dick move. It was kind of a dick move. But, yeah, that's my problem with most of Mass Effect 3 was just trying to rewrite the history that was built up for Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. So I had severe problems with that. And also, I mean, it starts off from the very beginning of the game, which is just a huge exposition dump, which feels like, oh, we have new players now, and they want to know about this world, and it feels felt very ham-fisted. And then you have this stupid little boy crawling the air ducts, going, oh no, I see where this is going. And then he gets on the transport, and he dies. Oh no, now the struggle of the entire Mass Effect universe is represented by this little boy, and fuck. Everything's gone to shit. I might as well try and enjoy Mass Effect 3 as it is, but
Edward, I think you summed it up. I think you summed up like the Mass Effect 3 path by just that one word.
What do you think of Mass Effect 3?
Edwin is so hipster. He hated the Star Child before he was the Star Child.
Yeah, right? I don't know who you are yet, but I'm gonna hate you damn kid.
When I played the demo. When I played the demo, which was that opening scene, and you meet the kid and stuff, and his transport blows up, I thought the kid dying was hilarious. It looked to me like they were trying to make me sorry. They're trying to make me sorry and make me feel bad about leaving Earth, right? But I think they did a much better job in that same scene. I left Anderson behind. That hurt me. That felt meaningful to me. Like, of course, I'm sorry to leave behind Earth.
That kid was playing with a Normandy toy. He should have known who fucking Shepard was. I'm sorry, right?
Get the fuck out of that air duct.
Excuse me for being a hipster, but if you're gonna fucking play with something, you should know what you're doing.
Stop. I have to stop this party. Sorry. He wasn't playing with the Normandy toy. He was playing with the Alliance fighter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Damn you, Koobs.
You should have known who Shepard was.
No, it's the little girl with the trailer. In the trailer, had the Normandy toy. Remember when she got annihilated by the Reapers?
That's right.
That was sad. That was sad. That was sad. But not the snotty little kid that I'm like, give me your hand and you will live. You can't help me if you want to live.
Shepard, okay? No, everyone's dying. You can't help me.
Like, fucking die then, prick.
let's slide into that one point. Hold on, guys. So we've all played. Some of us are very Paragon. Some of us are very Renegade. Some of us fall in the gray area.
I'm Paragade.
You're Paragade. So
I will help people who deserve help.
So
I will fucking electrocute Sergeant Kafka.
So who in the room generally plays Renegade?
Wow.
I've done,
Really?
I've done everything.
I feel like,
times.
to be honest
I've
with
done
you, I feel
Renegade
like
and Paragon.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people do, but your default is your default Paragon or Renegade.
Minority though.
I'm
Actually,
default
there
in
was
between.
there was some info a while back released, I think for Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3. I can't remember that. 90% of the players played as Paragon, but only, I don't know, 1/3. I really can't remember the number, so don't quote me. But there was a lot
You're
less
quoting yourself, dude.
There was a lot less people playing as Renegade.
90% played Paragon and 33% played Nice try.
No, but the question is,
Renegade
okay,
sucks,
so
though. I mean-
so Shepard, the whole driving point of Mass Effect 3 is Shepard. I mean, it appears to be he's mourning, or the death of that child is affecting him. Hence, it sets you up as that dream. He keeps seeing the child because it deeply affected him.
See, if it had stopped at the dream, that would be fine.
Okay.
Because having a moral dilemma would be great.
But here's the thing. Let's pass over to Dylan. Dylan, if you're playing Renegade Shepard and you don't care about shit, all you care about is killing the Reapers, why would Renegade Shepard care about the kid?
You know,
Oh, dear. Come on, not that
what else,
Renegade.
really?
Not that Renegade.
Come with me. I can save you. Have a shit.
Oh.
I should
Catch a
jump.
Predator and the Mass Effect. Oh, that's a series waiting to happen.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
Writing it down.
I really cannot think of a reason. I can't think of, right now. I can't think of a good reason.
Can anyone think of a reason why Renegade Shepard would care if the kid died?
To be honest,
Paragon doesn't care.
yeah, to be honest, I don't see why Paragon Shepard would care about the child. Say, like, for certain dream sequences, like after Tuchanka, you've just seen one of your best friends go up to sacrifice himself, and then you get to run slow motion through the woods after some shitty kid that weeks ago.
And then you wake up and say you miss Caden.
Yes, exactly. I don't fucking miss Caden. I hate that guy.
Yeah.
I vermite him for a reason.
Poor Caden, man.
Caden, everyone, people say unless you romance Caden, then Caden isn't good. But I'm not going to romance him because he's creepy as shit.
I actually always admire Ashley, even though I think she's the better character.
Yeah, it's like for the most
You're
part,
wrong.
I've saved them about equal times.
As we near the end of this podcast, I want to just hit a couple of quick points. In the workshop interviews that we do things called turbo questions. It's fast questions, fast answers. Let's kick it around the room. Get your quick opinions on first topic: the worst character of the Mass Effect franchise. Dylan.
As for the squad, I know it's been everyone says it, but I think Jacob could have handled it a lot better, and so I found he was the least person I was connected with.
Edwin.
Oh god, Jacob's just gonna get a whole lot of hate on, isn't he? Yeah, I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm sorry. But you
Don't forget Kai Lang.
Oh god.
Maybe we should change the question.
Mass Effect Universe. What the hell? What was that?
You gotta read that book.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay,
That's
The books are dumb.
Because everyone will say Kai Lang, because the book was actually pretty good, and then in game was pretty shitty. Let's limit it to actual crew members, squad members.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dylan, we got yours. Edwin, you said Jacob as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Jacob. I wanted that because he's the only space black guy. Well, he's one of the few.
The space black guy.
Space black guy who's on your team. And,
Yes, Captain.
It's like a unicorn.
Eric
now cannot release this podcast.
Archer said it, not me.
Eric, worst character in Mass Effect.
Deanna Allers.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I changed.
She was on the ship. She'll count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad that I've forgotten her.
No, it's not bad.
Let her tell you about the
It's
time
pretty
she made Elko cry. Rather not, thank you.
Koobismo, worst character in Mass Effect.
Yeah, Allers for sure.
Joanie.
I honestly have only played the beginning part of Mass Effect 1, unfortunately, and watched the other games, but I really, 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 really hate Caden. Really. I wish I could have reminded him, like, halfway through the game.
Natalie, worst character in Mass Effect.
This is going to be controversial with listeners, but Garrus.
Oh.
That's a change up.
Yeah.
I can't stand Garrus.
Wow.
I just, there's something about him, just the whole, I'm Archangel, just like old time, Shepard. It's like, I didn't even pick you up in Mass Effect 1. Shut the fuck up. So I just don't like, he's too smug, he's
Ready
rich.
for the hate mail.
All hate mail can be
I don't
directed to
care.
Natalie Loftus at.
Yeah, you give them my email, Natalie Loftus, what is it, info@natalieloftus.com. Please, free
All
feel to
hate mail.
email me. I will get drunk and email you back. Equal abuse. I'm quite eloquent. It's on, basically. But whatever. No, I just don't like him. I don't like smug characters when it doesn't fit in with... They expect you to have him in your crew the whole time, and I don't really use him. So it's not even hate as in like, oh, I don't like his character. He's just really, really smug, and I don't like smug people. So if I was to go like, oh, I can do all the voices in Mass Effect really, really well, and then expect people to like me, that would be stupid. But I just don't like him as I wouldn't get along with him because I'm a very, believe it or not, I'm a humble person. If I don't do something well, no, but if I can't do something well, I won't go like, oh, I can do that. But do you know what I mean? It's just the whole like, oh, I'm Archangel, all these mercs on Omega and blah blah blah. It's like, bitch, I'm fucking Commander Shepard. I'm saving the galaxy 3 times. Fuck yourself. It's like,
In his defense, you have been dead for 2 years, so.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like him. He's very smug, and everyone bums him for the romance and everything. But he's just an awkward prick, and I don't like him. Also, Jacob. I could just make a list. Garrus, Jacob, Caden, Allers, fucking... Oh, God, no! Kelly is the worst fucking character.
Oh.
Like, shut the fuck up and feed my fish, you bitch! If there's any touching going on, you better be involved. It's like, fuck you, I don't want Scalich. No, Kelly is the worst character, even worse than Garrett. She's worse than the Reapers. She's worse than Starchild. Kelly is my Mass Effect 2 Starchild. I hate her.
She was the real mastermind
I
behind
hate
the
her
entire
so much.
Mass
I
Effect
tell her
universe.
not to change her fucking appearance in Mass Effect 3. I'm like, no, you shouldn't change your appearance. Cerberus won't find you. Oh, you're dead? Oh, no.
Oh,
Don't like
shit.
her.
Moving on. Phil Hornshaw, worst character in Mass Effect.
My Kelly got liquidated by the collectors, so no big deal there.
Oh, God, that was beautiful. Can we just reflect on that for a moment? Just like, I'm melting.
Cue video clip?
Yes. Get it on YouTube, please.
Yeah.
I want to see
video
that
clip.
shit again.
What was the name of the journalist that Shepard punched out not once but 3 times?
Kalisa
Yeah.
Natalie, you do a pretty good Kalisha.
Thank you. I hate myself. Commander, the people of Earth have questions.
I'm tired of your disingenuous assertions.
I mean, in addition to that being like just a terrible character moment on like a number of fronts, the journalists are not like that, and I hate when media decides to portray journalists like freaking bloodsuckers. It's ridiculous.
No bias at all, right, Phil?
Well,
Right.
no, exactly.
Not like
No
Phil's a
bias at all,
journalist or
but come
anything.
on, Jesus Christ, we're doing a job. Jeez.
Honestly, I feel like punching her in the face should have been a Paragon action.
She was a ridiculous character. Of course, you should punch her in the face. It was.
Worst squad mate, though.
Oh yeah, I know. I wasn't done. I really disliked. No, I really dislike Vega. I have nothing in common with Vega.
I'm with you on
It's
that
like,
one.
listen, how many pull-ups can I do? And I'm like, dude, can you just shut up for like 5 minutes?
Don't sell yourself short, Phil. You got that great strong jaw.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it just he added nothing to the team. That's really what it broke down for me. Like you take Vega on a mission, he's like, wow, this doesn't make sense to me, and then like 5 other people have to explain it to him. It's like, how dumb are you? Why are you here?
That's exactly.
But at the very beginning, when you get back back on the Normandy, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go. I want to go back." And then Shepard's just like, "Enough, you child."
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go back too, but we can't. We have orders. We're in
for what it's worth, though, I
military.
think
He's a proxy for the audience to explain to them what the hell's
I'm
going
gonna go
on.
to the lower levels with a
and
cubic
that's
ring.
what
But that's awful. That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's what they
Dylan.
had his character in. That's what they basically had this character in there for. But for what it's worth, I do think Freddie Prinze Jr. did a fantastic job with what he had. I think he did a great job, in my opinion.
The
by
acting was
cementing,
amazing.
he cemented
Everyone
himself.
was like, "Oh, Freddie Prinze, we don't want Freddie Prinze in Mass Effect. That's so gay." But he did a really
Freddie
good
Prinze at
job.
all. I don't.
Yeah,
He's written badly because he's the Mass Effect 3. I've never played a Mass Effect game audience.
He's the
And that
meathead.
makes him irritating. Like, yeah, exactly. He's a meathead.
I think he cemented himself really good in the cast, though, for what he had. He worked really well with what he
I don't
had.
know. I never took him.
I never took him with me.
I hated him. I couldn't.
There's
He
actually one
didn't
reason,
add anything.
and there's one reason to take him with you, and that's those moments where like you have to pick like a tech guy to like fix something.
Yes,
He'll start kicking things.
Yeah. Put him on point to do the tech side. Yeah, he'll just kick it and punch it for a few minutes and fix it. He's like, "Okay, Shepard, if you want me to fix this thing, I'll do what I can."
I'll just headbutt it with my big meat head.
And that's funny, but I felt like as a character, the writers could have done more with him to make him add something to the team other than just like, I'm going to give an opinion that doesn't really have any basis in reality, and you're going to probably discount in a minute when you talk to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. Like, I just really wish he had every other character has some unique perspective that they bring to the team that makes them useful for being on the team, and Vega sort of lacks that, and it's even
The new guy.
Ashley and Kate. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have no idea what you've been through, and I'm gonna ask dumb questions.
I'm
Like,
gonna ask really stupid questions, criticize you for things that you've done.
It's frustrating.
It's like, have you fought Sovereign at the Citadel? Have you fought the Collectors? No, you haven't. Sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and just
Precisely.
be
And
in your place.
And I liked Jacob more than that because at least I felt like Jacob had an arc, and Vega doesn't really have one. So
Jacob at least showed respect to his commanding officer.
there you go. Vega.
Let's tie Sloth in.
Pregnant. That's his
Let's tie
arc.
Sloth in. Sloth, what's your favorite character?
Least favorite.
Or least favorite character. Sorry, I've been drinking way too much.
This might be more controversial yet than Nat, but Commander Shepard.
Oh shit!
Shepard.
High
I
five.
think Shepard is the worst character in Mass Effect and the
I
hardest for me to
hate
accept.
Paragon
Oh,
Shepard.
easily.
You know what? Because a lot of people right now are going, "What the hell, Sloth?" For someone who loves everything Mass Effect does, including all the DLC, why do you hate Commander Shepard? Please
Now,
explain.
hold on a second. First, I just ranted about Tuchanka, and you haven't heard me rant about Rannoch yet. I don't love everything Mass Effect does, but Commander Shepard. I hate Commander Shepard because the whole galaxy is up his ass, and he is either Jesus or Terminator. I love Terminator in the Terminator. I love Jesus in the Bible. I don't think either of them belong in Mass Effect.
I love life.
I mean, they're great characters in their own intellectual properties, but Shepard being just inexplicably great at everything is bullshit. And for instance, a couple specific moments that I really don't like.
Go.
I don't like that Shepard can beat Vega in a fist fight. Vega is twice his fucking size. It
But what
doesn't
about
make
Fem
Shepard
Shep?
weak to lose that fight. I don't
can
like
beat
how
Fem- I can
Liara
beat
says to
Fem
shut up,
Shep.
man. I
Guys,
don't like
Zaid's
how
voice.
Liara says to Shepard, "You must be remarkably strong-willed. You're just magically resistant to sorry mind meld." It's like, what does that add to Shepard? Why is he uniquely resistant to this? It's boring. Like Shepard
Well, he's a
saves the
character from
Krogan
games.
from the Genophage.
Like,
He's the only one who can tell the Geth and the Quarians. Now hold on a second, guys. He's just right against the Council and against Uda and Edina and frickin' everybody. The entire game just kisses Shepard's ass. And unfortunately, Shepard's always right, so they kind of have to. But as a counterpoint, however, I do think Morden's discussion with Shepard in Mass Effect 2 about the Genophage is one of the best moments in the series, precisely because Morden doesn't change his mind just because Shepard's the hero. So yeah, Shepard. Hate him. Wish he wasn't in the game.
No, I'm right there with you. Those are all good points. Well done.
But the classes as well, like Soldier Shepard, this meathead Shepard who's a soldier and doesn't know anything else but shooting things, can suddenly hack this terminal for no fucking reason, or suddenly knows how to be a diplomat, or suddenly knows how to cure the fucking Genophage. But it's like, no, I chose a soldier on my first playthrough, and none of it made sense. If I was an engineer, that would make sense.
Shepard gets
Shepard
credit
was an
for
engineer in
defeating
high slot.
Sovereign. Shepard gets credit for defeating Sovereign. In what sense did Shepard defeat Sovereign?
If anything, Joker defeated him, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. Shepard's brought in the fleet.
It's like, so yeah, Shepard's a big deal. Great. I'm sure justifiably everybody's a big fan of Shepard, but he did not kill Sovereign.
No. Well, the entire Alliance fleet did.
Yeah, can I say one more acerbic thing about Shepard? This is less fair, but it's funny, I think. So I've read a lot of Mass Effect.
Can you say it like Zaid though? Because that's funnier.
Just do the rest like Zaid. I don't want to hear your advice.
You're only allowed to talk like Zaid for the rest of the time.
It's the only reason you were invited.
Okay, listen for a minute. This is a thing I hate about Shepard, and it's not the game's fault. It's the people who use Shepard and then talk about him like he's some fantastic character. People like to think that they're really impressive role players for not choosing either Paragon or Renegade, right? You say, you just choose Paragon, or you just choose Renegade, but I write a more complicated character. I choose Paragade. My Shepard is a badass. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's not afraid to kick someone out of a window. Ooh, character development. Isn't that fucking interesting? No, it's just freaking bipolar Shepard. There's pretty much no difference between Paragon and Renegade Shepard, other than Renegade uses a slightly meaner tone of voice. You also see shit like, okay, so I've chosen my Shepard's background. He's a colonist, so I'm going to give him a really cool backstory. He hates Batarians. Frickin' everybody hates Batarians. That's not clever writing. It's frickin' bullshit. Oh, God, I hate Shepard. Your Shepard sucks.
Okay, and I'm going to counter this to end up this podcast, and we're going to go through the favorite character, because we got to end on positive, because the last thing in this podcast cannot be Sloth saying that I hate Shepard.
Why not?
All the Mass Effect fans were like, but Sloth. Send all hate mail to AssaultSloth at gmail.com.
No one.
Let's go through the favorite character of Mass Effect. It can be squad mate, lead, NP, complete random person you meet along the way. Favorite character or personality. I'll say or personality that you meet along the entire way. Sloth.
Miranda's ass.
Oh, I get to start. Freaking
you get to start.
So, I can't choose a 4. I think Legion, as portrayed in Mass Effect 2, Morden, as portrayed in Mass Effect 2, Rex, as portrayed in Mass Effect 1, and Javik, as portrayed in Mass Effect 3. None of the ones where they are in 2 games do I think it counts. I think Legion and Morden are much worse in Mass Effect 3 than they were in Mass Effect 2. So, confined to those games, those 4 are freaking brilliant. Love them all.
Phil Hornshaw.
Okay, I've got 2, because I'm going to cheat also. Tali is my favorite squad mate in Mass Effect 2. And also Mass Effect 3 to a degree. No, but God, she just becomes so much deeper in Mass Effect 2, and
she's not deep. She's cute.
Are we forgetting in the first game when you go in to save Liara and you're in the Mako, and then you've got to go around the main gates? Are we forgetting that Tali goes, maybe we should find a side window?
I am forgetting that. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Play it through with Tali on that mission, where everyone else goes, well, we need to go around them. We should go around them, Shepard. Maybe we should find a side window.
I did not like Tali.
Is that how she says it, Nat?
That's exactly how she says it.
Tali in Mass Effect 1 is terrible.
Then.
No, it really
Tali in Mass Effect 2 is a character, and that has a lot to do with it. But also, Kirihei, really, I just the dude who is loyal to his people and his country, that interests me. He's out there willing to sacrifice himself at Vermeer, and
he's a bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, but he knows what has to be done, and he's willing to do it. That's characters like that interest me. So.
Very cool. Let's bounce this around a little bit. Dylan Shipley.
All right.
Favorite character.
Okay, I'm cheating a little bit with a couple. And it might just actually be a lot from the performances, but Anderson.
Which is fine.
Love Anderson. I thought Martin Sheen did fantastic as Elusive Man. And the way he was handled with Mass Effect 2, I really loved.
Right.
And then, let's see who. I thought Saren was a great villain. So it's Saren. Yeah. And then going against Sloth for different reasons, I do have a soft spot in my heart for Shepard, even though he's not the best character.
Son of a bitch.
I was watching the screen, and for all of them, you're like, yes, good. Then Shepard, screw yourself.
Go Burmeyer yourself.
Those are probably my ones. I really like all those guys.
Okay.
Going black.
Edwin Tiong.
Oh,
Favorite
dear God.
character.
Okay. Why am I never in character?
Favorite? Yeah, you need to be in character of someone. I don't even care if it's Fenris, which is your voice. Just be in character, damn it.
Isn't he Morden too?
All right, so my favorite characters as Fenris, because I also want to. I adore Garrus because we are both smug bastards, and we occupy the smug bastard range of the team. So that's my favorite squad character. And then I'm losing my voice here, but the major character a major character who's not a party member is also the elusive man, especially in 2. In 3 was just oh, I'm evil. I'm so evil, blah 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 blah. But in 2, it was just it was more subtle. It was like, you are a really unpleasant person, but I will work with you because you've got funding, but at the same time you're so charming, an unpleasant, charming person, and that's like Garrus, who is also unpleasantly charming, smuggy. And my third thing, minor character, is the smoking Elcor in Omahdon.
That's Harriet.
It's just so random. Why does he have a cigar? What is his backstory? What is his entire history? Tell me more. I need to know more about this character. Yeah, those are my 3.
Eric, favorite character?
Go back and forth between Rex and Morden. Rex, mostly just because, even though he is a little cliched, the kind of the ultimate warrior, he's so likable that even as like a pure paragon, he was the character I always brought with me. And even when he does something that's evil, like shooting someone in the face with a shotgun, you can't help.
Why is that evil?
The guy. Well, okay, maybe not evil, but something that's renegade, certainly. Something that is clearly a renegade action. As a paragon, you can't even berate it for him because the guy's just so goddamn fun. Like he's just so inherently likable, and I was so accomplished there. And the other one, Morden, because the other one being Morden because number one, he had I thought a really solid character arc throughout Mass Effect 2 and 3, and also I actually thought he was a very original character because he is kind of an inversion of Rex in that he's a badass. He is also special ops guy, but it's a very non-traditional attitude approach that he takes to it. It is very much a scientist and I guess more of a brain dealing with these kind of situations and having that attitude towards it, as opposed to someone who is all about war and death or a meathead like Vega. It's a very unique character. So that's why.
Excellent. Let's jump around. Joanie, since you're Eric's better half, what's your opinion? Best character in Mass Effect?
Squad mate, Morden. Morden wins hands down because I found him the best to talk to, and I love to talk about universes. I write poorly, but I try. But I write, and I like to stick characters in the universe that I write in, so talking to Morden really helped with exposition. But when it comes to straight out badassery, Arya wins hands down. She's my personal favorite. She is my favorite so much that I named my dog after her. My dog is Arya, and the first rule of the house is don't fuck with Arya.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I want to change my answer to Rex.
There's no changing answers, Phil Hornshaw.
Including Garrus.
Very cool. Miss Natalie, what's your favorite character?
Well, I'd have to say that it's Matriarch Athena.
Ooh, really? Explain.
Because she's a fucking badass. I love her. She's got all these one-liners. She's a fucking troll, for starters. Fuck shit up. I love her. But also Conrad Werner, just because you get to shoot.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Do we know, Koobs, right? Could you just rewrite the end, like the middle bit of Citadel where you find out who is hacking your accounts and whatnot, and just make it Conrad Werner? And then you'd be like,
now I'm Commander Shepard.
yeah, exactly. So well, and you could be like, why, Conrad? Why do this? He's like, you shot me in my foot.
You've actually just, spoiled the ending of Murder Shield, so.
Conrad made the Reaper.
Conrad's the ultimate enemy.
Conrad Conrad is Star Child. Like,
Conrad is controlling the Reapers.
Choice one, you accept me to your crew. Choice two, you love me. Choice three, you shot me in my foot.
If you don't accept him as a squad mate, he destroys the galaxy.
Yeah, that's the destroy ending.
Koobs, what about you? Favorite character in Mass Effect?
So I'm not a despicable cheater like all these people who had more than one choice. Yeah, I could go on about many great characters, but I think that Morden wins in the end. But I definitely agree with Sloth that it's Mass Effect 2's Morden, the one that didn't assume that he made a mistake.
Was it just the writing of Morden in Mass Effect 2, or was it also because it's a different actor in Mass Effect 2?
I actually have a very poor appreciation of voice acting because my ears are, Polish. But
and for the listeners, that's not a joke. That's a fact.
Yeah.
The rest of it
Doesn't actually have ears. He has.
But I really like that he defends what he did in Mass Effect 2, and I really found that to be incredible in an RPG that's based on a protagonist that is a saint.
Nice. Well, and I'll chime in here since I haven't given either opinion on worst or favorite. And this is gonna piss some people off, but my worst character is Samara.
No, I agree.
She is so freaking pretentious, and to me, she's the only person who doesn't have like her own opinion. She's just like, well, I have to do this. I have to do this. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Shepard.
The code. It's like she has, I know a lot of people hated Ashley in Mass Effect 1, but at least she had her own opinion and she had growth. Her character, right. Even if you romanced her or you could see her character growing and her opinion changing. Like Samara is just like the code. It's like, oh, shut up.
I really liked the idea of her character. The idea of her character is really, really good, but the way it was employed is very subpar because the code seems to change depending on the whims of the writer too much. Like it changes too much so that this is against the code or that's not the code. Like,
shut up.
More interesting. No, it would have been more interesting if she had actually left your crew if you were a renegade or something like that. Like if she had
right.
She's a bad
and hold on.
From that point of view, she's just bad to have around.
And I'm gonna top it. And I can't believe. I mean, I know we were talking specifically squad mates, but the worst character in Mass Effect. Come on, guys, Star Child.
Oh, well, that's too
He's not in Mass Effect.
That's like saying the worst Star Wars character is Jar Jar Binks.
He's a mechanic and deserves to be destroyed.
May I offer a rebuttal?
Please.
Who?
What? I mean, after Shepard is shot by Marauder shields, I don't know what you're talking about.
To be honest with you, Star Child is a great character as long as Shepard is not the character that Shepard is at the end of Mass Effect 3.
And as long as there's a whole point for Star Child being there.
When Star Child is Harbinger and is messing with your mind, then Star Child is awesome.
Why wasn't it just Harbinger, guys? Why?
I don't know.
Why is it a ghost? Son of a bitch.
I just want to know why he's wearing a hoodie. If you're an ancient being, why are you wearing a hoodie?
It's an N7 hoodie. He's a big fan.
Because commentary about our times.
Okay, so and then I'm gonna say my favorite. I have two characters for my favorites. Saren. I think someone already mentioned that Saren's by far just a deep character, especially establishing him in the book. And I was sad that he didn't carry over through all three. Saren could have been the great antagonist that was kind of in that gray area. It's like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And honestly, my favorite character is Sovereign.
Yes, good choice.
Sovereign is just Harbinger seems like he's just mad, like he has emotion.
Harbinger's too intense.
I don't like I never liked Harbinger, but you get Sovereign, and Sovereign's just matter of fact. Here's why we exist. We're gonna kill you. Just deal with it. and so, to me, Sovereign is just that's the epitome of game, movie, TV, whatever. That's the epitome of evil. That's something you're going to battle. And then
There's
they kill him.
No reason whatsoever for him to be. He is.
He is, and it's not like I hate you. I'm emotional. It's just no. This is my job. I'm going to kill you.
It's my job to fuck shit up.
FYI,
Jeff as a villain.
Well, with that, guys, we are at the point where we need to end this podcast. We will continue this on with episode 2, maybe continuing a little more on this topic and expanding on. Thank you so much for joining. This is Dylan, Edwin, Eric, the entire Koobismo team, Koobismo himself, Joanie, Natalie, Phil, and the Sloth himself. Thank you for joining us on Drink Until It's Funny. And if this isn't funny, drink some more.
Good going.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
Son of a bitch!
Crew dismissed.